You know that feeling when you've been hunting for something for, like, so long and you finally get it?
Oh, yeah, it's the best.
Right. So picture the modern home buying process. I mean, if you've been through it, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It is just exhausting.
Utterly draining.
Exactly. You spend your nights obsessively doom scrolling through Zillow listings. You spend your weekends driving through all these different communities trying to compare builders.
And constantly refreshing the news to check on interest rates.
Yes. Doing the math on monthly payments over and over until your eyes basically cross. And then, after all that stress, the negotiations, the literal mountain of paperwork, you finally make it to the closing table.
Where you sign your name, what, 300 times?
At least 300 times. And then they hand you the keys, and there's just this overwhelming sense of euphoria. You did it. You crossed the finish line.
It's a massive moment of relief. I mean, the tension just breaks. It genuinely feels like the end of a marathon.
It really does. But today on the deep dive, we are unpacking a real estate philosophy that completely flips that entire idea on its head.
Which is fascinating.
It is. We're pulling from the internal brand notes and scripts of a platform called NHU Home University. It's led by Coach JB, Jubril Wilson. And the central mission of our deep dive today is to explore their core argument.
And it's a big one.
It really is. The argument is that getting those keys on closing day, it's not the finish line at all. It is actually the starting line.
Right, and that shift in perspective from finish line to starting line, it just changes the entire psychological approach to home ownership.
How so?
Well, it moves the focus from, acquiring the asset to actually surviving and thriving inside of it.
Yeah, and I was thinking about this concept earlier, and a very specific analogy came to mind.
Ooh.
Yeah, so the way we treat buying a house today feels exactly like the way we treat wedding planning.
Well, that is a great comparison.
Right. I mean, people will spend an entire year and just vast amounts of energy and money planning the big day.
Obsessing over every little detail?
Exactly. The venue, the catering, the exact shade of the napkins, but they spend almost zero time planning for the actual marriage.
Right, the day-to-day reality of it.
Exactly. They prepare for the celebration, but they forget to prepare for the decades of living together, the inevitable challenges and the long-term protection of that relationship. And that is exactly what New Home University is pointing out about closing day.
That is a perfect parallel. I mean, the wedding is the transaction, right? But the marriage is the lifestyle.
Right.
And what we are looking at here with these notes is a strategic evolution in how the real estate industry approaches that marriage. Because the traditional industry has a massive blind spot right at the closing table.
Yeah, they really do.
Buyers are so focused on the math of the acquisition that they just completely ignore the mechanics of protection.
Totally.
So New Home University is attempting to evolve this very traditional, honestly, often uncomfortable concept of mortgage protection into a holistic lifestyle framework. They call it NHU Home Secure.
Let's dig right into that blind spot, actually, because the behavioral economics at play here are just fascinating to me.
Oh, they're wild.
When you are buying a house, you are hyper-focused on the immediate threats to the deal, like a 0.5% jump in the interest rate.
Panic mode.
Total emergency, right? We obsess over the monthly payment, but the literal moment the keys change hands, all that risk assessment just vanishes.
It really is a textbook example of decision fatigue and what economists call hyperbolic discounting.
Decision fatigue is so real by that point.
Right, because by the time a buyer reaches the closing table, their brain is just fried. I mean, they have made hundreds of micro decisions.
That's so true.
So when someone asks them, how are you going to protect this 30-year investment if you lose your income? Their brain just shuts down entirely.
They just can't process one more thing.
Exactly. They want the immediate reward, the keys, the shiny new kitchen, and they discount the abstract long-term risk of, say, a health crisis or a job loss.
Which perfectly brings up that childhood bicycle analogy they use in the source text. I think it highlights our flawed logic here so well.
Oh, I love that analogy.
It's so good. So think back to when you were a kid. You save up all your allowance to buy your absolute dream bicycle. You wouldn't just leave that valuable bike outside in the pouring rain to rust, right?
Of course not. You'd put it in the garage.
Exactly. You protect it instinctively because the rain is visible and it's immediate.
Precisely. And, we do the exact same thing with cars as adults.
Oh, sure.
Nobody drives a brand new car off the dealership lot without insurance. I mean, it's unthinkable.
They wouldn't even let you.
Right. Because the risk of a fender bender feels highly probable to us.
Yeah.
But a home, is infinitely more valuable.
Yeah, it's where your family sleeps, where you literally build your life.
Yet families routinely leave their largest asset out in the rain, so to speak, because the threats to a mortgage disease, disability, death, they're just terrifying to think about, so we pretend they don't exist.
Okay, but I do need to push back here for a second, and let's just call a spade a spade.
Sure.
When we talk about NHU Home Secure, we are ultimately talking about life insurance and disability insurance, right?
Mechanically speaking, yes.
Right. I mean, structurally, isn't this just a clever marketing rebrand? They are taking a standard mortgage protection, which is usually a term life policy designed to mirror the amortization schedule of your loan.
Generally, yeah.
Yeah, so they're taking that and wrapping it in nicer educational packaging so people don't feel like they're being sold to.
So mechanically, yes, you are absolutely right. At its core, it utilizes financial instruments like term life insurance, disability riders, or living benefits to ensure the mortgage is paid if the breadwinner can't work.
Right.
But behaviorally, calling it a rebrand kind of underplays why this specific strategy is so effective.
Okay, how so? I mean, what makes it so different in practice?
Well, because traditional insurance is almost always sold through fear.
Oh, totally.
An agent sits across from you and essentially says, hey, what happens to your kids if you die tomorrow?
Ugh, yeah, it's super aggressive.
It is. It's a highly abrasive transactional pitch that instantly makes people defensive. But Coach JB's approach flips the script entirely.
By making it educational.
Exactly. By framing this not as an insurance product, but as an educational planning conversation. It's presented as part of a broader lifestyle philosophy, which removes that friction.
Oh, I see.
The directive isn't to sell a policy, it's to secure the family. And that changes the buyer's mindset from being a defensive consumer into an empowered planner.
Okay, that actually makes a lot of sense. So if their goal is to stop this from feeling like just a one-off transaction at closing, they can't just slide a policy across the desk and wave goodbye.
Right. That won't change anything long term.
Yeah, to actually change behavior, they have to fundamentally change how the buyer interacts with their home and their life after move-in day.
Exactly. If you're going to claim your brand as a philosophy, you have to back it up structurally.
You can't just slap a trademark on a flyer and call it a day.
Exactly. And this is why their entire approach relies on what they call the 3 pillars.
Right, let's break these down because this is where I think the strategy really pivots from pure real estate into something much broader.
Yes. The 3 pillars are new home, new health, and new wealth.
Okay, so the first one, new home, obviously makes sense. This is the foundational real estate piece.
It is, but it's not just about finding a house with a nice backyard.
What's the focus then?
The new home pillar is strictly about buying wisely through education. For instance, really understanding the mechanics of builder incentives or down payment assistance programs.
Which is a huge deal right now in this market.
It is massive. A lot of buyers are so obsessed with the sticker price of the house that they leave tens of thousands of dollars on the table.
Wait, really? Just sitting there?
Oh yeah. Builders often have massive concessions, literal money they're willing to give you to buy down your interest rate or cover your closing costs. So New Home University focuses heavily on educating buyers on how to leverage these, along with things like their NHU grant.
To save cash up front.
Exactly. The goal of this first pillar is to preserve your capital on day one, so you don't walk into your new house completely cash poor.
Okay, preserving capital makes perfect sense. But the second pillar is where I definitely have to raise an eyebrow.
Ah, new health.
Yes, new health. I have to admit, when I see a real estate brand telling people to, eat their vegetables, get 8 hours of sleep, manage stress, and go for walks, my immediate reaction is that this is serious scope creep.
It does sound a bit outside their lane, right?
Yeah. I mean, why is my realtor acting like my doctor? Am I buying a house or hiring a personal trainer?
It absolutely feels like scope creep at first glance. But let's look at the underlying financial mechanism of a mortgage. When you take out a 30-year loan, what is actually paying that loan?
Well, my income.
Right, your human capital. It's your ability to wake up, go to work, and generate income for 3 straight decades.
Right. Okay.
And what is the engine of your human capital? It's your physical and mental health.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, this is why they use the load-bearing wall analogy in the notes.
Yeah.
If we think of a family's stability like a house, the physical real estate is just one wall. But health is the actual foundation.
Because if the foundation goes...
Everything comes down. If the health foundation cracks, like if you have a major medical crisis because you haven't been sleeping or managing stress or getting regular checkups, your earning power stops.
And if your earning power stops, you lose the physical house anyway.
Exactly.
That actually makes terrifyingly perfect sense. I mean, you literally can't isolate the mortgage from the person paying it.
You really can't. A beautiful, expensive home means absolutely nothing if you're not healthy enough to enjoy it or, if a medical emergency bankrupts you and forces you into foreclosure.
Right.
By integrating new health, they elevate the concept of the home from a simple financial asset on a balance sheet to an active living space.
Okay, I have to admit, you completely sold me on the health pillar. It is the engine of the human capital.
It really is.
So that brings us to the third pillar, new wealth. And this is about securing the financial future beyond just the property line.
Yes.
We're talking about building equity, learning to actually budget, managing debt wisely, and building emergency savings.
Because equity is great, but, equity isn't liquid.
Right, you can't spend it at the grocery store.
Exactly. If the furnace blows out in the middle of winter, you can't just chip off a piece of your drywall and hand it to the repairman. You need actual cash flow and emergency reserves.
There is a specific philosophy here that ties all this together perfectly, actually. The notes say, wealth isn't just how much you make, it's how well you protect what you build.
Yes, that is the crux of the entire NHU Home Secure framework. It demonstrates how these three pillars are completely interdependent.
How so? Like in practice?
Well, imagine you have a solid new home and your new health is fantastic, but you have zero emergency savings and massive credit card debt. You are incredibly vulnerable to the slightest economic shift.
A layoff would ruin you.
Exactly. Or conversely, say you have great wealth and a beautiful home, but your health is failing.
Right, none of it matters.
True security, real peace of mind only happens when all three pillars are load-bearing and working in tandem.
Okay, so we have the mechanics down. Buy smart to preserve capital, maintain the human engine through health, and build liquid wealth to protect the illiquid equity.
Yep, that's the formula.
It all sounds incredibly logical in a vacuum, but I'm curious how this mindset actually plays out in the real world over time.
Yeah, the application of it.
Exactly. Like, what is the tangible mathematical difference between a buyer who just signs the papers and one who fully adopts this protection mindset?
The absolute best way to understand the mechanics of this is through a comparative scenario they use. Let's look at the tale of two families.
Yes, I love this part of the notes because it paints such a clear picture.
Yeah.
So I want you to visualize this. Imagine two families, and they are both buying the exact same model of home in the exact same neighborhood. Right.
They go through the same exhausting search. They both leverage the same builder incentives. They secure the same interest rate. On paper, at the closing table, their financial profiles are absolutely identical.
They are starting from the exact same baseline. Zero difference.
Right. Now, closing day arrives. Family A pops the champagne. They take the obligatory photo with the keys for social media. They move in, and they never think beyond that day.
Right. For them, getting the keys was the finish line.
The mortgage is just a bill on auto pay now.
Exactly. Then we have Family B. Now, Family B also celebrates, but the very next day, they treat it as the starting line.
They get to work.
Yeah, they sit down and create a system. They implement a strict monthly budget to build an emergency fund. They prioritize their physical health. And crucially, they put a concrete protection plan in place.
Like that term policy or disability rider we discussed earlier.
Exactly. So fast forward 7 years.
Okay.
The new build shine has worn off. The roof develops a leak, requiring a $10,000 repair.
Right. And in that exact same month, the primary breadwinner in both families suffers a severe back injury and cannot work for 6 months.
Oh, man. Okay, so this is where the compounding interest of preparedness really reveals itself.
It absolutely does.
Because that's exactly what this is, right?
Right.
We usually only apply the term compounding interest to money in a brokerage account, but this is the compounding interest of human habits.
Yes. Let's look at the math of Family A in year 7. Because they treated closing day as the finish line, they have absolutely no emergency fund.
So they have to borrow.
Right. When the roof leaks, they put that 10 grand on a high-interest credit card.
Which is brutal.
And then, when the back injury happens, the income stops entirely.
Yeah.
Within 90 days, they are missing mortgage payment.
Oh, no.
The stress just destroys their physical and mental health. They are on the brink of foreclosure. The house has literally become a prison.
That is so stressful to even think about. But then let's look at Family B in that exact same crisis. Because they compounded their wealth habits, they just pay for the roof out of their liquid emergency savings.
No new debt.
No new debt at all. And because they compounded their protection habits, their disability rider kicks in, covering the mortgage payments while the breadwinner recovers.
Keeping a roof over their heads.
Exactly. And because they compounded their health habits, the breadwinner's body is resilient enough to recover in 4 months instead of 6.
It's incredible, right? The crisis is exactly the same. The environment is the same. The only difference is the infrastructure they built after the closing table.
The preparation makes all the difference.
It does. And this is the pivotal question that Coach JB uses to reframe the entire conversation for his clients. He asked them, if something unexpected happened tomorrow, what plan would help protect your family and your home?
Man, that is a heavy question. But it forces the buyer to look past the excitement of the granite countertops and look directly at the statistical reality of life.
Because you can't hide from it.
You really can't. You cannot control the macroeconomic environment, and you definitely cannot control random health crises. But you can control your infrastructure.
And what is truly strategic here is how New Home University intervenes to actually build that infrastructure.
Right. They don't just leave you to figure it out.
No, this isn't just a motivational video they send you a link to.
Yeah.
They integrate this into their business model through complimentary consultations.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah, they walk you from the very first steps of down payment assistance all the way through the NHU Home Secure conversation.
Holding your hand through it all.
Exactly. They are deliberately stepping in at the starting line because their ultimate metric of success isn't just a closed real estate transaction. It's keeping that family thriving inside the home for decades.
It's about changing the trajectory from day one. So let's just step back and look at the big picture of what we've unpacked today. We started with the sheer exhaustion of buying a house and that false peak of closing day. And I think the main takeaway here is a radical mechanical redefinition of what security actually means in the modern world.
Absolutely. Because true security is not a deed with your name on it.
Right.
It's not an alarm system on the front door either. Security is an active, ongoing system. You have to protect your physical space, yes, but you also have to protect the human capital generating the wealth and the financial liquidity backing up the equity.
They're all connected.
You just cannot separate the house from the health and wealth of the people living inside it.
As the brand says so clearly, do not just buy the home, secure the home. You aren't just acquiring an asset, you are building a fortress.
And when you have that fortress, when you have prepared for the downside, it ironically allows you to enjoy the upside so much more.
Because the anxiety is gone.
Exactly.
Right.
That preparation creates the confidence that allows you to actually live your life rather than lying awake at 2 a.m. worrying about a layoff or a random medical bill.
It really is a powerful framework, and it applies to so much more than just real estate. Which actually leaves me with a final thought I want to pose directly to you, listening right now.
Oh, I like where this is going.
Yeah, so today we've talked exclusively about buying a house and the psychological trap of that specific closing day, but I want you to think about all the other major closing days in your life.
Like the other big milestone.
Exactly. Think about landing your absolute dream job, or, graduating with that degree you spent 4 years grinding for.
Yeah.
Or, like we mentioned at the very beginning, getting married.
Those huge moments.
Right. How often do we cross those massive life finish lines, pop the champagne, take the photos, and then completely forget to build a structural plan for the unexpected realities of the days that follow?
Wow, yeah. We just coast.
We do. So what would happen if we started treating every major life milestone not as a finish line to just celebrate, but as a starting line to actively protect?
It's a profound mindset shift. I mean, if we apply the 3 pillars to our careers or our relationships, it changes the entire trajectory of how we build our lives.
It really does. It is the literal difference between just hoping for the best and actually engineering for it. Well, that is all the time we have for today.
It's been a great conversation.
It really has. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the philosophy and mechanics of New Home University. We really hope it gave you some valuable tools to rethink your own starting lines. Until next time, take care and keep planning for tomorrow.